Hey, what's up guys? It's Ozzy here. So I just got back from watching Star Wars The Last Jedi. I bet you guys are wondering why the heck I am wearing a robe, and that is because it's basically -20 in Canada. It's cold in my house. I just want to be comfy, so I have a cutoff underneath and a robe, so you know it kind of looks like a Jedi or something. So I'll just use that since it's a Star Wars review. And it is Christmas in the man cave right now, so we have the giant Darth Vader with his Santa hat there. And then we also got Batman with the Stormtrooper with their Santa hats on, so you know it's pretty festive in the basement right now. This was one of my most anticipated movies of the entire year, and the hype for this movie was through the roof, and I couldn't have been more excited when I walked in. Now, I will give you a little teaser of what I think about the movie. I thought it was really good, but there were definitely some problems, but let's go ahead and talk about all the good stuff before that. So this movie is directed by Ryan, I don't know how to pronounce his name correctly, but it's Rian Johnson, or Ryan, who cares? And episode 8 is basically all about the Resistance trying to kind of find a new base. That's basically all they're really trying to do in this movie. And there's also two other stories that kind of go along during this main story, so it's a little bit not confusing, but it just feels a little bit weird just kind of cutting from different stories throughout the movie. So I already told you guys what the first story was. That was like the finding the new base. The second story is Rey and Luke, of course, as you guys probably know from the end of Force Awakens, like Luke is going to be training her and stuff. And then the third story is Finn and a new character called Rose. And they have to go and do something that's kind of important to the plot, I guess, and basically they just have their own kind of subplot while they go on this little mission. Now we gotta talk about Luke in this movie. So Luke, aka Mark Hamill, was absolutely amazing. I loved every single scene with him. He was just a pleasure to watch. He had jokes, he had really good character moments, he had really good moments with Rey, which was awesome, really good moments with Kylo Ren. It was just a really good performance by Mark Hamill. And easily my favorite Mark Hamill Luke Skywalker performance out of all the Star Wars movies. So Rey in this movie, she's kind of new to the Force still, and she has this Jedi Master, quite literally. He's a freaking legend, Luke Skywalker, so she kind of wants him to train her, and he doesn't really want to because he's kind of done after the events that happened in the past with Kylo Ren and how Kylo Ren killed all of the young Jedis that he was training, so he doesn't really want to be a part of anything to do with the Jedi. But Rey obviously still wants to be trained and stuff, so that's basically their story. I'm not going to give away any of the big plot points or anything, but that's basically the little overview of what happens throughout the movie with Luke and Rey. Finn, on the other hand, is basically trying to find Rey throughout the movie, and something that's going on with Finn that I don't really understand is, does he like Rey? Does Rey like him? Are they supposed to be together? I have no idea. The new girl in this movie, Rose, actually likes Finn, so I don't know what they're planning on doing now. I don't know if they want like Rose and Finn to be together or they want Finn and Rey, who knows. But overall, Finn was pretty good in the movie. I gotta say, his acting is just really good. John Boyega, I love him so much. He's actually a really good actor. I love the emotion he puts into Finn, and overall I just wish they gave him a little bit better of a side story and his performance would have been through the roof. But it was pretty good, I gotta say, from the story he had to basically portray. I don't think he could have done it much better. I just wish the story that he was involved in was a little bit better. The new character of Rose, she was okay. She wasn't my favorite at all. She wasn't like you need her in this movie to make the movie like good. She was just kind of there, and she was sort of important, not that important. Kylo Ren in this movie, as you guys can probably tell from the trailer, he does destroy the mask, which it was a huge bummer for me because that mask, I love that mask. I wanted to buy the helmet, put it in my man cave or something. It's just a really nice helmet, and he destroys it. So now it doesn't look like he's gonna have a helmet, which is a huge bummer because Darth Vader without the helmet, was nothing compared to Darth Vader with the helmet, in my opinion. So I just really wish they kept it. But other than that, his character was really, really good. He's still kind of dealing with the events after killing Han Solo in Force Awakens and everything. So he's still kind of like torn apart, isn't fully evil just yet. And Leia in this movie was really, really good. She had some really good scenes. I really like her in that general role. She's just phenomenal. Carrie Fisher, rest in peace. She was definitely one of my favorite parts of the entire Star Wars saga. But her performance was amazing considering it's going to be her last film, of course. And I couldn't have done anything better with that character. Everything was just perfect about it. Alright, let's talk about the visuals. So this movie had so many parts that are just super memorable. Like, they're burned into my brain how good they looked. Even in the trailer, you can see some of the imagery that they use, and it just looks amazing. Like, when the background is all red in the trailer and Kylo Ren's lightsaber's on the ground, he picks it up. I don't know, to me that was just really, really good, and that's just the tip of the iceberg compared to what you're going to see in the movie. BB-8 is obviously in this movie. He had some really funny scenes again, some really cute scenes. Honestly, whoever created BB-8 and made him basically like a baby droid is just super, super smart. Hollywood's got like this thing going on now for like baby characters, so like Baby Groot, we got BB-8, we got the Porgs now in Star Wars. And by the way, the Porgs weren't annoying. Chris Stuckman said this in his review, but they aren't annoying. They're just super cute and they're pretty funny too, and they're pretty lovable, so I'm really happy with that. I'm really happy they weren't just these annoying things that just make sounds every once in a while. And of course, we gotta talk about the action because it is a Star Wars movie, so the lightsaber battles were awesome. All of the kind of AT-AT stuff that you guys see in the trailers, and those salt running ships that you see in the trailers with the red kind of flying off of it. That scene was really, really cool. And there were a lot of really cool fight scenes in this movie, surprisingly. Like, there was a lot. In the trailer, you can see Finn fighting Captain Phasma. That was really, really cool because obviously you guys probably know Finn used to be a stormtrooper, so they kind of have history, you know? And she wants to basically kick his ass, and that battle was really, really good. And overall, the story was decent. A lot of people are destroying this movie, like, critically, because they think the story was like dumb and just, I don't know, they just did not like it for some reason. But in my opinion, I would say I didn't like the way they chose to do it by having like 3 separate stories connecting to one at the end. Honestly, I didn't see it as that necessary, especially Finn's story. I thought that was just we'll just get to that in the problems with the movie. The story jumping was a little bit noticeable. Like, you can be watching some of the Luke and Rey stuff and you'll be like, oh wow, it's getting really interesting. And then it'll kind of cut to the ships trying to find a new planet, and it's just a little bit annoying because like you start to like a scene and then they just switch it to a scene that you don't like as much, and it's just, I don't know, I just don't like how they chose to do it in 3 different stories. Alright, now on to the problems with the movie. So the first problem I have is with Supreme Leader Snoke. So this guy basically looks like a nutsack with a cut through it, and he doesn't really get much of a backstory or an origin or anything. He's just kind of in it, and that's about it. They don't expand upon him or anything, so that was a little disappointing, considering he basically turned Kylo Ren bad, and he's like a big, big character, and everyone's making such a big deal about him. He's like the leader, like top guy of the First Order, and he doesn't even get a backstory, so I was a little upset about that because there was no character development really for him. The next thing was that Finn story. I think the one part of that story took about 10 minutes, and it wasn't boring. Like, there was action and stuff, but I was like, can we just get to one of the other 2 stories, because this one wasn't as great as the other 2 were at that moment, and it just felt a little dragged on, but it was okay. I'm not going to say the scene was horrible or anything. It just felt like it was taking too long, and I just wanted to see something else. I just didn't really see the point of that. They have to find someone that helps them get into somewhere, so he's kind of like a hacker or something. And this hacker guy, when you watch the movie, you're gonna think this character is just stupid, like a useless character, and I didn't like him at all. Whenever he spoke, I was like, oh man, like someone just like shoot him or something. Did not like him. Character jumping, as I said throughout the review already, I didn't really like. I just didn't like having to go from 3 different stories and like you're thinking about the previous story and then you gotta learn this story and remember that story and then learn another story, remember that story, and then put it all together at the end. It does have a payoff, so it's not like you're watching one of the stories for absolutely nothing, but it just wasn't my cup of tea going from 3 different places at once. And the last and final complaint I have with the movie is there is a scene near the very end where someone does something to one of the main characters that basically totally changes the story. In my opinion, it was just stupid, because if this event happened, the story would have been way deeper, way better in my opinion, a little bit sad, but this character just stopped it from happening, and that's it. That was it. We didn't get anything. It just kind of stopped a really big event from happening. So that's like coming to the climax of the movie and then just being like reversed, and then you don't get to see it. So I don't know. I didn't like what Rian Johnson did with that scene. So guys, without further ado, after basically that long rant about Star Wars The Last Jedi, I'm going to give the movie a B+. I know they changed a lot of things from the previous movies, and I didn't want them to keep the exact same thing from previous movies like some people do and some people don't. I honestly want some new stuff, because like we've seen everything pretty much done. Like The Force Awakens basically copied one of the previous movies, so I was really happy he took a risk and did something new. Just I didn't like the way he did it. I'm not saying that they should only do old stuff, because that's definitely not the case. I just didn't like what he did in particular. I did have a really good time watching the movie. Like, I'm definitely going to buy it on Blu-ray. I got a poster from Cineplex. I got a cup, which here it is. So look at that. That's just a great cup. We got Kylo Ren on the ground there with his sword. We flip it around. We get the team, so, you know, we got Rey, we got Finn, we got Rose, Chewbacca, Poe, and on the top, the little character that I bought for $3 was BB-8, so you can see that. It looks really, really good with the Resistance logo there. I love these cups. So yeah, guys, that was Star Wars The Last Jedi. Leave a comment below of what you guys thought about the movie. And were you as torn apart as some of the other people? Like, me in particular, I had some problems with the movie, but I'm not going to say the movie was like bad or something. Some people are saying this is the movie that made them not like Star Wars. Like, you must have not been that big of a fan in the first place. You a fake fan! Because one movie that had a few problems cannot change your entire opinion about an entire franchise, in my opinion. So once again, guys, thanks for watching this movie review, and if you guys want to see more movie reviews and other random videos, make sure you guys subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.